G'day everyone, I'm Diane and this is Pepper, and we live full-time in our Toyota Coaster bus. After spending a couple of days in Tamworth to stock up on supplies, we are back on the road and exploring the area around the little town of Nundle. It's a pretty little area with some nice free camps and some interesting things to see, so stick around and see what we get up to this week. Our first stop after leaving Tamworth is the little village of Woolomin, about 40 kilometres southeast. There's a lovely free camp here and it's a nice spot to relax for a few days away from the city. You can stay up to 3 weeks here. There's plenty of space with picnic areas, rubbish bins and toilets as well. You can see most of the campers are up the top in this section, but the area extends all the way down the back and you can just see our bus right at the end there. There's a track that leads down to a little creek beside the camp, and that's a nice spot for Pepper to explore and cool off when it got hot. There's a general store in Woolomin that has basic supplies, including fuel, gas and alcohol, but there isn't much else in town. It's just a quiet little country village. The farmhouse up the road has a unique display of quirky metal sculptures lining the fence. They're really cool and it's worth stopping to have a look. Alright, well we're leaving this free camp in Woolomin this morning. It was really hot here yesterday. It was only supposed to get to 31 and it ended up getting to a bit over 34 degrees yesterday and it was just so hot and muggy. It was horrible. I think we need to get back up into the highlands because it's just too hot for us down here. Pepper really feels the heat, I think even more than I do, so we definitely need to try and find some cooler weather. Anyway, today we're heading into the little town of Nundle, which is only about 20 minutes drive from here. Looks like there's a couple of interesting things to see around there, so we're going to go and check that out. I'm not sure where we're going to camp tonight. We may end up coming back here, but a little further on from Nundle is a place called Sheba Dams, which has another free camp that looks okay, so we might check that out and stay there. The weather forecast for the next 3 days I think is for quite a bit of rain and possible storms, so we're probably not going to be able to do a lot of sightseeing wherever we are, so we're just going to find somewhere to camp and wait it out for the next few days until the weather settles down, and then I think we'll head back north to up into the highlands to find some cooler temperatures again. But anyway, let's get going this morning. It's very overcast this morning, but there is sun coming through, so we might not get too much rain until later today. Ready to go, Pepper Dog? Yeah, she is still not very keen to drive in the bus. Yeah, I don't know if she'll ever really get to like it. But yeah, I think we're at the stage at the moment where she tolerates it, which I guess is better than, you know, having a hissy fit and throwing up every time she gets in the bus. Anyway, let's go and check out this town of Nundle. About 5 minutes up the road from Woolomin, we came across Chaffey Dam. We didn't stop here, but we did a little turn around the viewing area to have a look. There was lots of people camping and fishing along the banks of the dam, and it looked like a really nice spot. Travelling on these smaller country roads, like off the main highway, because first of all we get to go slower, which means I can take in the scenery and it's not as stressful as having to stick to 100 k's an hour on the highway. It's also better for Pepper because she seems to travel a lot better and be a lot more relaxed when we're sort of doing 75-80 k's instead of 100. And the roads we've been driving on today around Nundle are just beautiful, like mostly farmland and a bit of state forest. lots of rolling hills. It's beautiful scenery. Nundle's a pretty little town with a relaxing feel about it. The locals are friendly, there's lots of old heritage buildings and some really interesting looking shops. This coffee van across from the pub in the main street sold the most delicious freshly baked donuts. If you're travelling through Nundle, then you have to check out the Nundle Woollen Mill, which is right in the middle of town. The Nundle Woollen Mill is a working piece of Australian textile history. It's one of the last wool spinning mills still operating in Australia, and visitors get a unique close-up look at how it all works. The mill itself only opened in 2001, but the antique machines used inside are much, much older. Their carding machine, which is still used today, is 112 years old. The mill runs tours, demonstrating the whole process of how they turn the raw merino fleece into the beautiful coloured yarns that line the shop walls.
Every second strand. Driving it and
The tour costs just $5, which you get back as a discount if you spend $15 or more in the shop. And best of all, it is totally dog friendly. Yeah, that was really interesting. Pretty much got to see the whole process from how they take the scoured wool fleece and turn it into the finished coloured yarn. It was pretty interesting to see. Pepper did so well in there in the tour. She was so well behaved. She did freak out a little bit when the machines started up. They were a little bit noisy. And also being up high, I don't think she's great with heights. I've just noticed a few times on bridges and things lately, if she can see down, she gets a little bit anxious. So the fact that we were up high, looking down onto noisy spinning machines kind of freaked her out a bit, but she was very well behaved. There were a few other dogs there as well. Big thumbs up to the Nundle Woollen Mill for allowing dogs, because, you know, that's something that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to see if I wasn't able to take Pepper in there. So thank you, Nundle Woollen Mill. That was really interesting, and yeah, great to be able to do that with my dog. The next thing I wanted to do was check out a lookout that's just outside of Nundle. It's started to rain and it's looking very grey and overcast, so I'm not sure how much of a view we'll get, but we may as well check it out anyway. It's on the way to the Sheba Dams Reserve, where there's another free camp that I was thinking about staying tonight, so we'll head out that way and just see what it's like. The road from Nundle up to where the lookout turnoff was really steep and windy, and at one stage I had to drop the bus right back into second gear, which I've never had to do before, but we made it okay in the end. To get to the lookout, there's a gravel track that's about 1 kilometre long that winds further up the hill. And there's a sign at the start of this track that says it's not suitable for caravans or coaches. Now, my bus is neither of those. And there was a comment on Wikicamps from someone who'd done it in a 7-metre motorhome, which is pretty much what the bus is. So I figured we'll give it a go. The track was actually pretty good. It was quite steep and very windy, but the road itself was in excellent condition. The biggest problem is that it's very narrow and there's not a lot of room to pull off to the side if you meet another vehicle coming in the opposite direction. Well, we made it to the top of Hanging Rock Lookout. The coaster handled that track easily. I just hope we don't meet any cars when we go back down. It's a pretty narrow track, and the the side of the cliff kind of drops off quite close to the road. But anyway, if I tell you what, it is worth it for the view. Have a look at this. And getting back down was no trouble at all. We just used low gear and the exhaust brake and it was totally fine. And fortunately, we didn't see any other cars coming up. The free camp at Sheba Dams Reserve was only a few minutes up the road from the lookout. Yeah, so that was the free camp here at Sheba Dams. I don't know, doesn't really feel like a nice place to stay. So I think what we'll do is we'll head back to Woolomin and we'll camp there again tonight. Yeah, there was rubbish everywhere. And there didn't seem like there was many level places left to park, and yeah, you know, just didn't have a very good vibe. So I think we'll give that one a miss and we'll head back to Woolomin. And we'll camp there tonight. I don't know how long we'll stay there. As I said, it's meant to rain pretty much all weekend. But having said that, you know, it was only that little bit of rain while we were in the mill today, and there's blue sky in patches, so who knows how much rain we'll actually get. But anyway, we'll head back to Woolomin because that really was a beautiful little spot, and we'll see how we feel when we get there. Alright, so I've just been thinking while we've been stopped here in Nundle to have a bit of a lunch break and change of plans. I'm not going to head back to Woolomin tonight. Woolomin tonight. There's another free camp that's about the same distance from here in the opposite direction, called in a town called Wallabadah. I think that's how you say it. And the free camp looks nice. There's also an interesting looking memorial garden there that's got displays and historical information about the First Fleet, which sounds interesting, might be worth a look. So I'm actually going to go there. It's meant to rain there as well. This whole region is sort of pretty much similar weather for the next few days. It might be slightly warmer there than Woolomin according to the forecast, but we'll see. I mean, if it's too hot we won't stay, but we'll head there this afternoon and check it out. We can stay there for up to 3 nights if we like it. So yeah, we'll just go and check it out and see what it's like. Wallabadah, just south of Tamworth in northeast New South Wales. It's a small town. It's got a pub, a church, actually 2 churches, a community hall, and not much else, except it does have a very unique and interesting looking memorial garden that I'm pretty keen to check out. We're staying at the campground here in Wallabadah, which is a donation camp beside the creek right next door to the memorial gardens. Pepper and I managed to score a lovely spot right beside the creek. There's heaps of space in this campground with plenty of options for parking in either sun or shade depending on what your needs are. There's a couple of playgrounds for the kids, there's picnic areas, rubbish bins, water taps scattered throughout the area. The bathrooms are old but they're pretty clean and they have flushing toilets and hot showers too. They even allow you to fill up your RV's water tanks up to 100 litres, and all this for just $10 donation, which I think is very reasonable. Just taking Pepper for a walk, and it looks like there's a whole other section to this camp as well. It goes on for miles. Down there where those white vans, you can just sort of see, that's the section that we're camped in. And then there's this other top section that's like all the way up here. There's heaps of space. There was like a bit of a steep track to get up to this section, so maybe not suitable for some caravans, but if you've just got a little van or a camper trailer or something, yeah, heaps of room. I have to say though, I think we scored a pretty good spot. It's really lovely there beside the creek. I could just sit there for hours watching the birds. Alright, so this morning I'm going to go across and check out the First Fleet Memorial Gardens that are next door to the campsite here. Unfortunately, dogs aren't allowed in the garden, so Pepper's going to have to stay here at the bus. I don't think she's going to mind though, because I'm going to give her this. This was actually gifted to us by a fellow camper back in Woolomin. It's a lamb bone, and it's raw, and there's still quite a bit of meat on it. This is actually the first bone Pepper has had since we left Queensland. So I think she'll be more than happy to get this, and that will occupy her for a good amount of time and let me check out the gardens. Girl. What have I got here, Baba? Whoa. What's that? I think there's actually two bits in here. You can have this big one. Oh, it's kind of joined on. There you go, knock yourself out. Whoa, okay. Good dog. Okay, get it. All right, well, hopefully that'll keep it occupied long enough for me to go and check out the garden. The First Fleet Memorial Garden in Wallabadah is a unique monument commemorating the people who set off on that famous voyage to Australia in 1787. It has some interesting displays that tell the stories of the conditions on board the ships, and it's the only memorial in Australia to list the names of all the people who sailed in the First Fleet. Looks like there were a couple of Evanses on board. I wonder if we were related. Information and a passenger list is also displayed for the Second Fleet, which sailed in 1790, with conditions aboard ship being far worse than those endured in the First Fleet. It's really beautiful the way they've done these gardens here, and it's kind of interesting to read the history and also sad to think about the lives that were lost and the conditions that the survivors had to endure on those ships. Just awful. But yeah, these gardens are definitely worth checking out. Definitely recommend them. And now I need to get back to camp and make sure Pepper's still there and not getting up to trouble. Well, I can see her, she's still there. I didn't think it'd be a problem if I left her with that bone. She loves the bones. Is that good, Bubba? Hey? Is that yummy? And an hour later, that's all that's left of it. Well, we've been at this campsite in Wallabadah for 3 days now, and I have to say it's been so relaxing. It's a beautiful spot here right beside the creek. I think we lucked out getting this spot when we arrived, and it's just been lovely just sitting here watching all the birds. Safe to say Pepper's found it pretty relaxing as well. It's been a pretty relaxing week all round this week, and I've enjoyed exploring this area. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.